I continue to be inspired by how much word of mouth actually matters. Like it just every year, I feel like it sets a new record in my mind for how important it is, because people right now, like I see this all the time. People are like, it's all about influencers and whatever. Like, and sure, like the tactics of ads and all this stuff, like that's great. But the only thing that is still viral is word of mouth. Like everything else is linear in terms of the relationship. Like if you spend $1 in ads, you get X back. If you do a cold reach out, you get X back. If you do 100, you triple it, you 1,000 it, it's 1,000 to 1,000. Like whatever that relationship is, that ratio, it's fixed. Word of mouth is the only one that is exponential in nature. 1 tells 2, 2 tells 4, 4 tells 8. And so if you want to have an enduring business, you have to have the monster of word of mouth working for you rather than against you, who's building your reputation rather than eating it from underneath of your feet. And I think that like that stuff that you were talking about earlier, where you're like, you're doing this goodwill and it's coming back to me. I just see that as like the invisible hand of the word of mouth that just like, I mean, you've had it happen 100 times, I'm sure, which is like, you go and you meet somebody like, dude, my buddy saw you at the airport and you like stopped and answered his questions and whatever.
Yeah.
And mind you, to be fair, if I'm like somewhere and I can't, it's the thing that bothers me the absolute most, but sometimes I have to be places.
Me too, bro.
Yeah,
I hate it. I hate it.
So I feel like I'm like,
I do too. I feel
going.
like, dude, one time, and actually I became really good friends with this guy because of that exact scenario, dude. I had a guy, his name was Roman. I'm still friends with him. Good fucking dude. Came up to me at a speaking event and I was like, he's like, hey man, you got time? And I didn't. And I'm like, no, I can't. And dude, he was like, he had been going through all this crazy, like really bad stuff.
Yeah.
And then dude, it was bothering me like fucking bad, dude. Like, like I thought the whole time I was speaking, the whole time afterwards, I'm like, fuck, I got to find that dude because I got time now.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, I was at another event and I fucking ran into the guy and I was able to apologize and say, hey dude, I'm like, and he was like, you know what, dude, that really made me mad. I'm like, bro, I get it. I felt bad about it, you know, but that shit bothers me too, brother.
And I think that for the audience, I think the bigger take, like sure, the tactics that we're sharing right now are like useful, but I think the biggest thing is like the perspective of there was that person that bothered Andy enough that it kept him up at night. And I think that if you can develop whatever that is, where it's a splinter, because it's those 1,000 splinters that become the bundle that becomes a very strong stick that you can wield or it's wielded against you. And like for me, like I think about the products we build, right? In the same way where the only way to build an enduring company is either to sell stuff that people never stop buying from you, or to build a company where people never stop selling for you. Those are the only two ways to build an enduring business that just continues to thrive over and over again. And if you're one of these guys who is, and like I get because I actually came from the direct response world of like understanding how the arbitrage of like ads and
that's
all these
where I started too, bro. That's where I started when I was 18.
Right, because you think transactional.
I was writing fucking classified ads for a credit booklet that I wrote, credit repair booklet.
Yeah,
I was writing classified ads to put in fucking newspapers.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have the internet. You know, I'm a little older.
But what happens is as you scale, because I'm going to get a little bit higher level business, but hopefully you guys will ride with me.
Yeah, they'll get it.
So as you scale advertising spend, you go to colder and colder audiences, meaning there's people who have less trust and they're honestly less of a fit than the warmest. Like if I was like, I'm going to only market to vegan powerlifting women who are moms over whatever, and I had a product that was just for them, I'm probably going to do okay. But if I want to market to the nation, there's just a less of a fit with my product. And so what happens is your cost to acquire a customer goes up because ad costs will only go one way for the rest of time. They will go up. And your conversion on future audiences that are colder will only go one way, which is down. So how do you combat two things that are inevitably going against you? You have to have one thing that is nonlinear in nature that fights that fight, which is word of mouth. Because that when that one customer comes in and tells 5 people, it allows you to continue to scale because you have decreased cost of acquisition. I'm getting a little bit like
keep
business
going.
Stuff
here.
But like, it's the only way that it gets big. If you want to grow something big, then having the strong word of mouth base, which is why like you can get into transactional sales stuff. Sure. If you know how to market and you know how to sell, you can become a millionaire. Like you can absolutely do it. You can probably become a decamillionaire just by like learning how to sell shit. And I'm using shit in the true poop word, like terrible,
widgets.
Terrible stuff that doesn't matter. Right. But if you want to achieve a certain level of scale, my recommendation is to continue to do the thing at a scale way below your friends until you figure out a way to get everybody who buys stuff from you to tell a friend. Like if this is a mental exercise I like putting people like our portfolio CEOs through. I said, okay, The marketing gods have decided that you are no longer allowed to market anything. And they eliminate all of your customers except for one. And every single customer from this point going forward has to come from that one customer. How do you treat that customer? And what happens is you start thinking like, well, shit, I would do this differently. I would do this differently. It's like, well, then do that stuff. And then what you'll see is that the result you get from the remaining efforts of your advertising will compound rather than continue to go linearly in the wrong direction. They compound in the right direction.